it. 'Cause it was there. We're art sluts.
Welcome back to Art Sluts Radio. Listen to us get deep on part 3 of my interview with Gretchen Phillips, legendary Austin musician from Two Nice Girls, Meet Joy, and Phillips and Driver.
You know, I love pedals.
You know, my stage name now is Ann Delay.
How many different delays do you think you have, Ann?
On my setup right now, I use 1, 2, 3, and then 2 loopers.
So why don't you tell me what your rig is? I know you're not supposed to talk too much about yourself, but I would like to hear what's in your setup.
Okay, if you're interested.
Because I love gear talk.
Right now, my setup is because I'm doing improv stuff, so I'm running through just a basic Roland keyboard amp. So I've got a Yamaha Mod X6, and I've got a Rhythm Ace drum machine. And then on the guitar side, I've got a Empress Super Delay. I have a Electro-Harmonix Graphic Fuzz. I use the Ditto looper. So the looper goes through the keyboard, and then the looper's going through the guitar. And then up at the level, hand level that I can manipulate, I've got a EH 16-second delay and a Mooger Fooger.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's... love it. And I do like the Eventide time factor delay a lot. So sometimes I'll switch back and forth with those. It's amazing to me that after reconnecting with Gretchen, we are both exploring improvisational instrumental music. Here's a sample of my current project, Ann Delay.
That is so cool. I was listening to our jam from Sunday with my new jam band,
Yeah.
Dong Worm,
Or
and
what is it?
Dong Worm,
Okay, nice.
DONGWORM. On Saturday, I was at the giant Asian supermarket misreading the label in the name of everything, apparently, all packaging. I misread. I thought that said blah. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. I thought this said, and I thought I saw Dong Worm as a name of a product. And I was like, that's a good band
It
name.
is good.
Anyways, Dong Worm. I had sometimes it's hard, and one of the things I really love because Darcy's in Dong Worm.
Oh, Darcy. I love
Yeah,
Darcy.
exactly. So Darcy's and Dong Worm, and we've been playing together for so long that sometimes in our improvs, it's like, was that me or was that you?
That's good.
But she's on bass and I'm on guitar, so you can kind of hear it here. But there was this sound that was the de-armand weeper
Yeah.
and a delay and some reverb that I was just like, that's my sound. That is really straight up one of my signature sounds.
That was a very recent recording of Gretchen's instrumental improv project with Darcy Douglas called Dong Worm.
I've been really getting into, though, well, there's the old Boss pitch shifter that's also a delay, the blue one from the early 90s I bought, but I just bought a little, it's literally this big. It's so tiny, a sweet, all those little Chinese micro
Effects, yeah.
So I have a rig in Ottawa that's my main rig, and then I'm happily buying things here.
Yeah.
To have, so I don't have to fly back and forth with stuff. And I have a sweet little pitch shifter right now that is.
I have not.
I love pitch shifter.
I have not played with that, but I might have to mess around with that a little bit.
Mess around with the pitch shifter, and I actually just soldered together my first pedal. I made a fuzz.
That's so cool.
So cool.
Oh, it's right. Science.
It sounds so good.
Science.
It sounds so good.
Oh my gosh.
It's so nasty. It's really nasty.
Oh my gosh. You gotta like send me a little sound sample.
You will. I will. I'll send you a little sound.
That would be good.
Yeah, I'm into it.
In the early 2000s, Gretchen joined up with longtime friend David Driver in New York City to collaborate and record. Their albums feature some of Gretchen's finest vocal work. Here's Grudge, their 2003 release, Togetherness.
Tonight I got nowhere to go, and I thought that I would call you, see if you were home. I'm sorry, but I'm pretty stoned. I hope I didn't scare you. I hope to God you were alone. Still fixate on all those nights when we would drink ourselves familiar, count the blurry lights. All my friends have left me here. You were the only one who knew me. Sometimes I think I'll disappear. I would give anything to make it with you just one more time. I'd give you everything I own. I would give anything to make it with you just one more time. I'd give you everything I ship where you're concerned. I only wish I had another turn. See the light is changing. I feel like getting high. I promise I'd sleep on the floor. I swear to God I wouldn't touch you. There could be no one who'd ever touch you. I would give anything to make it with you just one more time.
Okay, so another question I had for you, and sorry if you have talked about this quite a bit, but you had mentioned in another interview, which I found really interesting. So when you were growing up in your early 20s, you still do identify as lesbian, and that personally and also as a community, right? And then you had made some mention in another interview about how that or how non-binary folks impact that, and I would love to get your kind of insights on that whole progression, that whole development in our society.
Well, I mean, I feel like one of the very first things that I remember really resisting. So when I think about my early life, one of my first memories ever is about music's impact on me. And that was when they would leave me alone, my parents would play this lullaby record that was folk lullabies, mostly in minor keys. And it was terrifying to me because I didn't understand words. And to me, what these minor keys and songs were saying was, your mother's leaving, she's going to the store, she will never return. So it was, kind of
That was
the emotional impact right back to what you were talking about.
that was the loop in your brain.
Yeah, as a like an infant was, there's this one particular song. To my little one's cradle in the night comes a new snowy lamb, snowy white. Goat. That goat will go to the market. And I'm like, Mom's going to the market. Another wife will keep to bring back raisins and almonds. Sleep, my little one, sleep. It's about a babysitting goat, I think, or maybe mom watches and the goat goes to the market. I can't really remember. Again, I was pre-verbal, but the way that minor melody went, it was just like really compelling and disturbing to me. And I feel like that's this thing I've been trying to work out. And then what it feels like to me in terms of sexuality and in terms of gender is this other thing that I've been trying to work out. Is it one way or is it another way or is it both ways? Is it both and? And so as a kid, I think the way that I would be seen now in a regular classroom, I think I would be understood by the teachers as like, I think that's a little baby dyke right there. Gretchen's struggling because of that. But there were no words for that. There was no context for it.
Phillips and Driver released Disco Dance Party 2000 in 2011. Here's a track called Reluctant Butch.
Barry White and I were both born in Galveston, Texas. I guess there's just something about that tar-filled, salty Gulf of Mexico saltwater. Teaches you how to make love to a woman. You know you want me, and I want you too. From where I'm lying, baby, I've got quite a view of your luscious lips and your sexy thighs. Ooh. But you just called me something that harshed my high. Don't call me butch. I don't feel butch. Sure, I like pants, but that don't necessarily make me butch. It's my purse, it's not a man bag. I'm in a skirt. No, I'm not in drag, please, baby. Do not call me butch. Some girls may like it, but this girl don't. No. Everything is gonna make me horny. I promise you it won't. But it might make me defensive and unattractively uptight. So unless you're counseling me on my history, was your agenda for tonight? Don't call me butch.
Don't call me butch.
I don't feel butch.
I don't feel butch.
Sure, I look great in a suit, but does that necessarily make me butch? Do not let reasons I don't like getting called butch. You know, sweetheart, I really don't think that you can underestimate what it means growing up in the South and our incredibly rigid gender roles there. I'll never forget the first time I went to, I think it was Connecticut or Scarsdale or something. I thought I was on women's land. You know, all these women, everybody was just running around with short hair, and they had on their Izods, and they had like, their little soccer shorts on, and I was like, wow, we are so lucky that we have landed in this lesbian town. And my band mates were like, yeah, those are straight women, Gretchen. This is the Northeast. Like, what? Those are straight women? God, they would get their asses kicked running around looking like that in Texas. This stuff is really hardcore there. You get called butch at the drop of a hat at the minute you're born. I was just like a little child, you know, picking out stuff that I wanted to have my mom buy for me, you know, in the Sears catalog. Like, can I have these boots, those cool boots that have like the little circle thing on them, you know, and can I have this, can I get this motorcycle jacket? Well, it's not really a motorcycle jacket, it's really more like a jean jacket. And she was like, no, you cannot have that. What are you, butch? I'm like, I don't know, I'm 7. You know, I mean, it's just a dirty, dirty word, really, in a lot of ways. Where I was from, that was a dirty word. I grew up in the 70s, okay? It's all about androgyny. We thought that, you know, butch femme was like really reductive, and I'm sorry, maybe I'm showing my age here a little bit, girl, but you're reminding me of all this bad stuff. I don't think it's really hot when you tell me that I'm butch. I think that you're like bringing me down. And like, do you want to call me butch and you want me to go just freak out like this, and then you're going to listen to me and give me a session on it? Great. But if, as I suspect, right now you just want to get it on, I think that's an idea that you should just keep it to yourself.
Lesbianism was highly pathologized in the 60s and in the 70s.
Porn and so forth.
Yeah, in porn and popular fiction like Sybil's, that a horror story might then kind of turn on like, and she's a lesbian.
Right.
That's why she's killing. You know, just like a lot of, certainly in porn, but also, I mean, I wouldn't say it was pathologized in porn. I would say it was actually, that was a titillating world that was hard to recognize. And don't get me started on the killer lesbian, trope, because I love it. I'm all about it. I'm just like, be afraid, be very afraid. Yeah, we might.
I remember the cassette tape that you recorded that was like you reading.
Juanetka. And yes, all the porn. All the porn.
That was awesome.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So I think that for me, I have always been trying to look at how it's in a minor melody, but it's supposed to be comforting. I'm a girl, but I want to be basically Huck Finn on an adventure. I think that the world has felt too small for me. And I think that in terms of people butting up against binary, it feels unreal or untrue. That it's not just like that. That there can be comfort in black and white. This is a sin, this is not a sin. Mm-hmm. This is okay, that there are plenty of people who think and find comfort, and people who are tortured by, it's one or the other. But I guess I just want to keep pulling the lens back so that I can see how these binaries are expedient, useful tools for systems, often of oppression, and don't necessarily feel the same way inside of one's heart or inside of one's, as my neighbor just said, deep inner wisdom. So I think we all have a compass that we listen to or we don't. And I think that we can respect others, we can respect ourselves. Sometimes we respect others more than we respect ourselves, you know? But I think that there is a kind of just maybe political reason why I identify as lesbian feminist.
I was actually just thinking that, in your, and I agree with you, quest to have all humans coexist and us not be divided, yet certainly identifying as lesbian or transgender or frat boy or whatever it is, you're able to, not frat boy, but you're able to challenge the mainstream, and also it's empowering and it's powerful in society. And in a way now, I think that where culture is going, and certainly politics is not there, but where culture is going, I think is more of a like holistic, everybody's included, but yet because of the severe polarization of mainstream, that's why we're still having to use labels.
Well, I think that identity says who your people are, but it also says who your people aren't. And so let's say that exists here. I'm a lesbian feminist. So actually, my dear male bandmate, you're saying, well, why don't you just blah, blah, blah? I'm sure that's not my experience. I don't get to just blah, blah, blah. You have a different experience because you are a straight white guy. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't be born because you are that, but I'm just saying I have a different experience. So I'm saying who my people are, who my people aren't. But I'm not content with that. I want to pull the lens out and say, but that may be true, but also we're humans is true.
Right.
So actually, people are my people because people are my people.
Here's another song from Phillips and Driver's disco album called Togetherness.
Hello, I am a homo and I'm here to tell you something about life. This isn't like Madonna where they tell you how to dance away strife. You've got your feelings, please don't deny them. Speak your mind like Margaret Cho. If I may offer one little diamond, reaching out's the way to go.
I am a dyke, and I know how it feels to feel it's not always what I like, but I believe in keeping it real.
You got a problem?
I'll try to help you. You may feel alone, but you're not.
If I may offer
Some validation. Let's face facts, your ass is hot. Togetherness, that's where it's at. Shows how much we love each other. Togetherness, that's where it's at.
even when we bug each other, yeah. Hello, you are a homo and you really don't know which way to go. You're living out your happiness, but sometimes you just feel so alone. You got a problem? We want to help you. You may feel alone, but you're not. We want to offer some validation. Here's the secret we just got.
Togetherness, that's where it's at.
Show so much we love each other.
Togetherness, that's where it's at. Even when we bug each other. Togetherness, that's where it's at. Shows how much
Togetherness, that's where it's at.
And then go into, and then I pull the lens out more, but what about mammals? Just, well, mammals are also my mammalian kinfolk, and then, so these ways of, I don't think that I want to stay in a settled place. Certainly, I don't want to stay in a settled place of, you know what, this is a kind of human behavior I'll never understand. I'm just not going to understand it. I have been really thinking about the antidote to fear for me is curiosity.
That's great. I like that.
If the plane is indeed crashing, which I always fear, if I could summon instead of terror, okay, it's happening. I'm about to die. Well, what's this like? Here we go. I'm falling through the, what does this feel like, yo? What's going on? If I could summon that, that's the only place where I have agency again, is how do I
experience it, respond to it.
And where do I have choices? If I'm doom scrolling, not as easy for me.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I need to stop doom scrolling.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm hanging out with super negative Nelly, not as easy for me. If I'm smoking cigarettes, and yes, I can write letters, but I also feel pretty terrible about myself.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to. So I have been really thinking about should. That just using the word should implies that there's like a right way and a wrong way versus what I'm trying to inhabit, which is preference,
Mm-hmm.
and just claim it for what it is. This is just my preference. I don't prefer to kill people. I don't prefer to kill people.
That's good.
Yeah, but there's a lot of, but in terms of what's happening right now, as far as in the Middle East, there are people who prefer to kill people. I prefer to kill no people. That doesn't feel like a place where I get to decide. But I had some bacon yesterday, so apparently I prefer to kill pig. But do I feel a deep kinship? Could I look that pig in the eye? Hell no. So we have all of these places where we might have an ideal, let's say, and then we fall short of that. And trying to look at, well, then what are these ideals of should? Why am I invested in a thing where I'm constantly falling short? So respect. So then we return to what I was saying in the beginning. So what about, because I do think that frat boy was a great thing for you to add to that list of identities.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that's wrong.
Right.
To identify that way. And could we, bump it up a notch with respect between the lesbian feminist and the frat boy? Mutual respect. So if I'm going to say, you need to listen to my story, you got to listen to my story, I fucking need to be able to listen to his story.
True.
I have to.
Well, and again, the unself-reflected life, I feel like in general, that is what is the division between our tribe, and I will say in that self-reflective, creative, artistic, empathetic, and that I feel like if people who do have fear and anger and capacity for violence, if they were able to self-reflect, I think that is super powerful. But then how do you make that happen? Or do you make that happen?
I don't think I can. I have given up trying to make this world fit my
True.
picture. I have given up on that because I realized that my picture is a preference. Do I wish that I was the president decider for all of this? I do not. When I feel like, oh my God, everybody, we need to be doing it this way, that's just my preference. And everybody may have really great reasons for why they're doing it a different way. There are certain things that I choose to believe, and I know that I just choose to believe these things. I don't know if they're true or not, but it helps me. So I choose to believe that people do the best they can under the circumstances, and when they can do more, better, finally quit those cigarettes, then that's what they do. And that if as is the case with Teresa Taylor, they smoke themselves to death.
Is that what happened?
Yes, I have a preference that is not what they do, but I don't get to decide that. I don't get to control that. I don't get to say that.
Right.
We are all going to die.
Right.
And so kind of removing myself from should and dictating to the world my own moral directives has given me more room to explore guitar tone.
Okay. You got to explain that
I just
to me.
mean have fun. I just mean not be like this, but just like, okay, I'm gonna, whatever. He won. I don't know what's gonna happen. Still 2 weeks away. Let's jam.
So what you said was in expressing your, if I can paraphrase, your opinion, your moral view, it's almost like you're able to let that go and then just
Yeah,
be in the moment.
much more. And that's what I want. I just
Got
want to
it.
be in the moment. Yeah.
Me too.
And I think artists are lucky that if we can get being tortured and fraught out of the way, then that is what we're doing, you know.
Yeah, it's super powerful. I mean, a good friend of mine, we were at a incredible performance recently, and it was like nobody was at that show, but the performance was amazing, and he said, "That's the stuff."
Exactly.
And I was like, "That is the
I
stuff."
feel that way. I was at an incredible show on Friday. Nobody was there. It was so good. And the world's not fair. Like, I could get a gig at a nice club. These folks can't get a gig, you know, and it doesn't have anything to do with how amazing we are.
Right.
It has nothing to do with that. And they rocked 6 people as hard as they would rock 12.
That's right. That's just a beautiful thing. From the album Togetherness, here is Lesson, another beautiful song by Gretchen and David.
I hope you feel this message I'm sending you tonight. I hope that you are living. I hope you are all right. I wish that I could call you and see if you're okay. I find it hard to feel safe when I'm away. Since our country's been at war, I've been really scared. I never understood it before. I never really cared. Since our country's been at war, I've been really scared. I never understood it before. I never really cared. But in this last year I've come around. I'd like to live with you in a nice house. Learn to feel, learn to give, make some plans for the future. Actually care whether I live or die. Allow you to be important. Let me be satisfied. I've made some plans for the future. I've had some dreams about the future. We have a life and there's a war on. I hope you feel this message I'm sending you tonight. I hate that we are separated. I hope you are alright. I hate that life is so uncertain. I hope we die together, holding hands and making plans for our afterlife together. Being sweet, being brave, not afraid to die.
young ones today have no
They have no idea.
idea.
They have no
Do
idea.
you remember? I remember going to how mean men at music stores were to me the minute I walked in, would make fun of my choice of pick. And I would be a teenager and I would think, you asshole, why do you sell this pick? If this is the dumbest pick in the world, well, then why is this pick in your curated store, you asshole?
Music retail is way behind musician culture. And, you know, I've had a music store for 28 years and that has been...
You have? So it's 28 years?
Yeah. That's been one of my joys, is to like create a community that is welcoming to all the people that were not being welcomed in traditional
You're hostessing
stores. I love it. It's great.
You're hostessing.
Hostessing and creating community, which is...
Yes.
You know, and Terry, she has, you know, a little bit about her life. That's that same thing where you're like, okay, the world is fucked up. And what I can do is I can create this community and I can have this creative, positive impact on the people in my community. Yeah.
Absolutely. And we may only have about that much power. We may not be able to stop giant systems full of machinery that are, in my humble opinion, hell-bent on destruction. But can I have a party with the time that I have left, with people I love, seeking them out and prioritizing being with them? Yeah, that is actually what I want to do.
You know, though, I still, and maybe this is like the God thing, but I still feel that there's these synchronistic moments that can have impact because, AI, machines, patriarchy, oppression, all of that, but it's like a person is involved in every aspect, and so to speak, the person with their finger on the button, if that person through like pay it forward, I guess what I mean is like you have a good conversation with somebody, they feel good, they take that and go to the next person, and it yada yada yada, and then it ends up with somebody who it makes an impact and we don't even know because it's a chain reaction.
That's why I want to be respectful to frat boys.
Right.
You know, I mean, I remember when I completely agree with what you're saying, and I think that there's one may have a goal is that you're going to pay it forward, but for me at this point in my life, it's just like I enjoy the experience more.
Curiosity.
Yeah, and I have no idea what might manifest. And I get great feedback, like from you and from all sorts of different places. And of course, it's very precious to me when men say to me, you said this thing that was very, very useful. I appreciate you saying that, Gretchen. I love that. I love that. I love to have a version of, well, you know, it's reflected back, right? That I am. I mean, all I want on my tombstone, all I want it to say is, she was a good friend.
Oh, I love that.
That's all I fucking care about.
Well, you have been a good friend to me, and I've always felt that, you know, a decade goes by and I pick up the phone or text and I feel like, yeah, that's Gretchen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's it for my 3-part interview with Gretchen Phillips. If you want to hear and read more, go to Gretchen-Phillips.com.
Thanks for listening to Art Sluts Radio.
Hey, if you identify with the Art Sluts, explore our herstory at artsluts.net. That's ARTSLUTS.net. And purchase downloads of our music wherever you stream music.
All contributions and purchases will go to support Planned Parenthood.
Currently, 21 states have limited access to women's health care, including abortion, and 15 of those have a total ban.
Talking about your abortion experience, voting, and donating to support abortion rights will make a difference.
I hate to leave